the Bangor Auditorium. This is the ring that Scarborough basketball fans have been talking about. Two of my exotic Class B teams have passed for the Eastern Maine Class B and the Mount View Mustangs, who are now 20 in all. The end of the 20, 18 in all, the number 2 seed. They'll face the undefeated Houlton Shiretowners, who've been in the tournament for the past 5 years, won the last 4 Eastern Maine tournaments. And we're having a bit of delay, a rain delay of sorts. The way it looks like this evening. And maybe we'll get down the floor here in a moment, I think, to take a look at what's going on. You can see the bucket on the floor. The roof has been leaking now, and the players are warming up, but the game may go on may not start for a bit yet, and Bill McManus is down on the sideline. Bill?
Thank you very much, Keith. Woody, this is the first time in Eastern Maine I've ever seen a rain delay. Can you tell our viewers what's going on?
It sounds like the old days in baseball. We've got a bad, the slush is built up on the roof, far beyond the drain, and we've got there's nothing we can do about it on the outside, so we're going to try to remedy it from the inside. We got a person going up to the beam, tying a bucket across, and hopefully we can direct the bucket under the leak, because it's impossible right now to play this game with the amount of water coming on the floor.
So, Woody, we're going to look to delay a while. Got any idea how long this is going to take or when they're going to start it? Because I know those lights up there, you're talking about that whole section of lights, lowering that down, tying a bucket to it, and then drawing it back up and try to catch the drip.
That's exactly it. And this is a first for all of us, so I don't know how long it's going to take to drop the lights. I don't know how long it's going to take for the man to go across the beam to get under the drip. So this is all a big question mark.
Then the idea too, Woody, is someone will say, well, why not play around it? Why not have somebody go out there and keep wiping the floor? But if one person got hurt, then the SBA would not be doing the job, and safety is what's the first concern.
No, that's correct. This is not the ordinary drip, Bill. This is really coming down here. One person could not be on the floor long enough to take care of this water. It's very dangerous.
Woody, thank you very much. Keith?
Okay, Bill, and some of the shots of this drip were taped earlier. The leak has been coming down from the roof now for some time, and as you heard, it will be delayed with the start of this Eastern Maine B final. It is a game, however, that, as we mentioned, schoolgirl basketball fans have been waiting for some time. The Houlton Shiretowners came in seeded number 1 again, as they are a perennial powerhouse. They were 17-0 on the season. They won their quarterfinal match over Madomic Valley 52-20. Madomic Valley was 10-7 coming into the tourney. The semifinal game was a bit closer, but the Houlton Shires pulled it out 62-51 over Herman. And the team they'll be tackling, I guess, arrived a bit late as well, getting here, a little bit late getting to the auditorium this evening. And the band, the Mount View band, has just finished setting up just below us. So we're going to be a bit late with the starting lineups this evening. The Mustangs came in number 2, undefeated, 18-0. No common opponents of these two teams, so we really don't know how they match up. Can't tell that way anyway. Mount View won their quarterfinal round game against Fort Kent 62-29. Fort Kent ended the tourney number 7. They were 10-8. And the semifinal game 51-47. They were pressed a little bit more in that game by Orono, number 6 Orono. So the Mount View Mustangs have now won 20 games in a row this season without any losses. And Lisa, this stacks up to be a pretty interesting matchup, I think.
Yes, Mount View did arrive late. We weren't able to talk with their coach. I did get a chance to talk with Coach John Donardo for Houlton. He said that mainly in the very beginning of the game, they're both going to be trying to just feel each other out. He expects a fast-paced game, but then again, you know, you can never tell. They're going to go with what got them here. You know, most coaches will tell you that anyway. You don't want to go changing something right at tournament time. They just want to try to get the ball inside to Nagel, go where their strength is, which is their height and size. They also have a lot of tournament experience. Mount View also has been here quite a few times. In fact, I believe back in '81 we had this same matchup, Mount View and Houlton. So it does look to be a very evenly matched game, hopefully a very exciting game, if we can ever get started.
Well, as we mentioned, the Shiretowners have been here since 1981. They lost that year to Mount View, as you noted. Mount View won the Eastern Maine Championship in 1981, defeating Houlton 56-48. That's the last time these two teams met in a final. In the state game that year, Gorham 50, Mount View 38. In 1982, Houlton began its domination of the East, defeating MDI on Desert Island, your old high school, 62-48, and lost the state game to Lincoln Academy 71-60. In 1983, the Shiretowners defeated Fort Fairfield in that final 57-30 and lost the state game to Greeley 67-49. Houlton defeated MDI again in 84, 38-37, but lost to Greeley again in the state game, 41-39. Finally winning the state game last year over Cape Elizabeth, 53-44. Now we'll go back down to the floor to Bill McManus.
Keith, thank you very much. With me, I have Peter Webb, who's the Assistant Commissioner of Basketball Officials. I'll be talking to Mike Dorenzo later tonight, but Peter, this is unusual. What happens in regards to the officials? When do they take control, and do they have jurisdiction over something like this?
No, the officials don't, not at this point. The administration at any athletic event, now namely the MSSPA Basketball Committee, headed by Woody Dumpy, who's on site, and Director Woody Bailey, would determine if in fact the game can be played or not. Once that decision is made, then the referee on the court, who happens to be Mr. Owens tonight, would be, as a general statement, in charge of the conditions and so on and so forth from that point.
Peter, let's play the double advocate just for kicks. What happens if we start the game and all of a sudden the rain pours even harder? Will they stop it and replay it?
Well, I would think without a doubt the game couldn't be played, because you do have to care about the participants and, of course, the liability and everything else that goes along with it. It's a shame that the water is where it is.
Okay. Peter, thank you very much. Keith?
It'll be the first in history of basketball delay because of rain. I want you to say that. Yeah, I know.
Don't give me
What may be the first rain delay in the history of the Eastern Maine basketball tournament. We're going down to the floor now. In any case, I believe for the starting lineups.
It's going to be,
I'll pick up this announcement first.
we don't know how long. It'll be a short delay, and we will remedy it as quickly as we can.
What about warm-ups again?
What's that? Okay, good idea.
Okay, some confusion as to what's going to happen here. As you can see, a bucket out on the court, and the roof is leaking, dripping rain into that bucket. Hopefully the bucket is under the leak. It was a while ago. And now we're kind of eavesdropping on the officials at the bench to find out just what is going on. You can see it dropping into the bucket there, almost at mid-court. Obviously, they're not going to let the girls out there to begin this ball game until that's taken care of, and not sure who's going up on the roof to take care of it.
The players now are returning to the locker room. Question was asked, are they going to be allowed to warm up again after they return to the floor? And that's something we'll have to wait to see how long this is going to take to repair.
Maybe they'll have to call in the engineers before this game gets underway. In any case, we are looking forward to what should be an exciting contest if it does get underway at all this evening. I don't know what would happen if we did have a delay or the game was postponed. I suppose it would be too bad for the folks to go back to Houlton or back to Mount View and then come back again a day or so later for this Eastern Maine Championship game. So now the officials are conferring with some of the tournament officials and trying to come up with a solution to that leak out there. Just a slow, steady drip, but it could end up delaying or postponing this Eastern Maine Championship game. We've seen some exciting basketball this afternoon, Lisa, and we saw two D teams advance to the state final, which is scheduled to get underway tomorrow afternoon. Central Aroostook was an upset winner over Greenville. Greenville won the D championship, state championship last year, came back again among the favorites, and they were bumped off by Central Aroostook 46-43 in the opening game. And then we saw Washburn eke out a win. Heavily favored Washburn just eked out a win over Machias. Washburn was in Class C last year and actually won the state championship at C and was moved back to D, and they won over Machias 38-36. Now we'll get it back down to Bill McManus and see if we can find out what's the latest on the leak.
Thank you, Keith. Woody, you've discussed it with Woody Bailey, who's in charge of the tournament. What have you decided to try to do?
There's a little change of plans now. We have a man, a professional roofer on top of the auditorium, and he thinks he can remedy it quicker from up there than we can from inside. So that is what we're going to attempt to do at this point.
Question was asked because we had our microphone over there at the table. We heard him ask, are the girls going to be able to come back out and have another warm-up?
Yes, we're going to allow them a warm-up. Depending on how long we are in this delay, that will determine how long they'll have to warm up. But they will have a warm-up.
They're going to put a guy on the roof, Woody, and if that doesn't work, you're going to go back to Plan B, which is to lower the lights?
Hopefully we will not have to. There is danger involved in remedying it from inside, so hopefully this will do it.
Woody, thank you very much. Keith?
Okay, Bill, and as you heard Woody Dunphy, a tournament official, explain, they've got a roofer coming, and apparently he's going to climb up there, and we don't know how long that'll take. I mean, how long does it take for a roofer to get on top of the Bangor Auditorium and plug a leak, depending on how badly the roof is leaking? We don't know. But you see the Houlton band
Could be a good
full of
trivia
enthusiasm.
question. Could be a good trivia question. How long does it take somebody to fix it?
And can you see the leak from the floor? In any case, as we started to mention, the two games we saw this afternoon, exciting D basketball. However, in that second game, Washburn was strongly challenged by underdog Machias and pulled out a win 38-36. A lot of turnovers in that ball game.
Yes, both teams had a hard time controlling the ball. Washburn, a lot of times not able to handle that pressure that Machias was putting on them. A lot of mistakes in underneath the basket too. They had a lot of chances inside to really put the game away. Probably will have to make a few adjustments before the final.
A lot of talk about the fact that B teams are moving down to C teams are moving back to D, and so forth. A lot of reshuffling this year, and there are far more D squads in the tournament. In fact, we had a quarterfinal and a semifinal round in D, which we didn't have last year. And as it turns out, Central Aroostook and Washburn will be in the D final. They were both C teams last year. That should be an interesting final coming up tomorrow afternoon. Okay, the crowd waiting on both sides of the court. The teams have gone back in the dressing room to await the solution of this leak on the floor. A leak on the roof and the bucket on the floor. They're taking the bucket away now to
And now they're watching the floor.
Watching the floor to see where the drips are going. Something I'd like to ask you about, Lisa, if we have time now. The seatbelt bench decorum rule, we've heard a lot about it here at the tournament. It's the controversial issue in high school basketball this year. Coaches are apparently learning to live with it. No coaches were heard from during the tourney. No coaches we've heard from have mentioned being strongly opposed to it. And a lot of them probably aren't in love with it because of individual coaching styles and so forth. But it seems to be a rule that coaches are learning to live with, or are adapting to at least.
Well, I think at the very beginning of the year when it was first introduced, there was a lot of controversy. People didn't understand exactly when they could get up. They really thought that it was going to hurt their coaching styles. Some coaches, as you know, are what Bill McManus sometimes refers to as hoppers. Not that they get up and razz the officials, they just get up to talk to their players. And a few coaches have had to adjust their style that way. I think that possibly it makes them a little bit stronger coach in practice. Maybe they go over more things in practice that normally they would have tried to take care of, during a game. I think all in all, the adjustment has been made, and I don't think we haven't seen any technicals in the tournament because of that rule. I think it's been good for the game. Puts the emphasis back on the players, taking it away from the sideline antics.
I understand it's being opposed more by some Southern Maine coaches. Some Southern Maine coaches have denounced the new rule, and I don't know whether it's a matter that will be reconsidered or not next year, but it appears that Eastern Maine coaches, for the most part, seem to be adapting. And even those who are, not strongly opposed to it aren't really happy with it, but apparently are learning to live with it.
Yeah, I think that the major thing has just been learning to adjust. There are, as we talked about earlier, there are certain instances when you can come off the bench to applaud for an outstanding play that your team has made. Another is to signal for a timeout. If one of you can come up onto the court then. Another time to go to the would be to go to the table for a correctable error. But other than those few instances, the remaining part of the game, you should be sitting right in your seat.
Okay, again, we're waiting to find out what's going on here as you look at Pete Webb and John Owen and Tom Lynch will be the officials for this evening's ball game. As you can see them talking with Pete Webb, and the crowd is having a good time, even though the game has been delayed again. If you can see that bucket at near midcourt, near the center of your on the right, just to the right of center on your screen, that is catching drops from a leak in the roof here at the Bangor Auditorium, and they have sent away for tournament officials have sent out for some technical help. There we go, a close-up shot of the infamous bucket, and that's an extra bucket, the third bucket on the floor tonight, and hopefully that won't be a part of the game this evening. They have sent out for technical help. I understand that a nearby roofer is coming along to the Bangor Auditorium. He'll climb up on the roof, the auditorium roof, in the rain and snow, mixed rain and snow outside earlier this evening, and try to plug that leak. And then the girls' teams will come back in here and warm up again. How long are they going to warm up, did he say?
Well, it's going to depend on how long it takes to fix the roof. I would imagine that the longer it takes to fix the roof, the longer warm-up time.
Will they get an entire warm-up period over again?
Well, it could possibly, you know, it's going to all depend on the roof.
So we can anticipate a late finish, especially to the boys game.
Yes.
And
a good crowd on hand. Too bad they're having to sit and wait, but we do have a real good crowd despite the weather outside.
And inside.
And inside.
Okay, the game following this will be the B final between Dexter and Rockland. The Dexter Tigers and the Rockland Tigers. Rockland, another team that moved back this year from A to B, and made an appearance, or making an appearance in the tournament this year, and have put together some good games, defeating a favored Houlton team the other evening handily. The Houlton boys and girls were in the tournament this year. Only the girls are left, and they're preparing or hoping to prepare for their game with Mount View this evening. The Dexter Rockland game directly following this one, live on MPBN. We've had a bunch of ball games since Wednesday afternoon. We've moved all the way through the quarterfinal rounds, and here we are set for our first Eastern Maine final, and it's been delayed by the rain.
The band's getting plenty of time to warm up here. As we mentioned, Mount View band was a little late getting here because of weather, we assume. Also, the team bus was a little late. Kind of interesting over on the other side, we see the Dexter fans and the Houlton fans all sitting intermixed over there. I guess the same thing happened last year.
An announcement on the PA system being made that a celebration will be held at Dexter this evening, regardless of the outcome and regardless of the time of the outcome or the time they arrive at home. Normally these games last about an hour and a half. Of course, there are 32 minutes per game. The girls and boys games last about an hour 30 minutes or so that will set us back a bit, and
they may be there for breakfast.
First one likely won't be over until around 9 o'clock, and then we look for, if it gets underway shortly, and then we look for about a 10:30 finish for the boys game.
There is a little different format in the awards this year. There will not be the speeches, as I understand it. There will not be the speeches by the coaches. There will be the awarding of the individual pins or medals, whatever you prefer to call them, by the State Principals Association. But to quicken things up, there will not be the speeches by the coaches.
Earlier this week, you talked a bit about the size of the basketball. You, in case our listeners don't know it this year, are coaching or have finished coaching a junior high team at Garland Street Middle School, and you are also a basketball official and have used the smaller ball, which the high school girls will be using next year. The college girls already, women's teams in college already use the smaller ball, and you think it will be a real benefit to the high school girls as it has been to junior high girls.
Yes, we decided to go with the smaller ball in our league this year, partly because we did realize high school was going with it next year, and we've just felt all along it's been a good idea. There is not that much of a difference in the size, but it does make a big difference in the play. Girls have much more control because of the size of their hands. They have a much better control of the ball. The ball is a little bit lighter, which helps them with their outside shooting. They're able to put the ball.
No, I don't believe it'll have any effect. It's kind of too bad this happened, but maybe it even put them a little bit more at ease. Time will tell on that, I guess.
How did the coach react?
Well, it put me a little more at ease, I think. I had time to laugh and joke a little bit, and we got together out there, some of us coaches, and did a little talking, and helped me a lot.
Good. Al, what do you plan to do to see if you can dethrone Houlton High School?
Well, I think we'll come out playing about the same way we have all season. We have to make some quick adjustments on defense. Depends on what they do, really. We'll probably start out with the same type of defense we used the last game, and go from there, I guess, and try to run a good offense and try to stop their quick break.
Al, should be a good ball game between two good girls high school basketball teams.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keith?
Okay, Bill, Coach John Donato a bit tentative as to whether the delay will help his team. In fact, he worries that it may hurt them just a little bit, but Alan Downer's not too worried and had a chance to relax, and I guess the team arrived a bit late anyway. The band was setting up just about as we were supposed to start the game some 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to wait and see. In a ball game like this, you know, it may affect them for the first couple minutes, but these girls are here. They've worked hard to get here all year. They're not going to let something like a leaking roof get in their way. Okay, we can look on the board now and see how we got to where we are right now. Mount View knocked off Orono in the semifinal 51-27, and Houlton knocked off Herman 60-51. So it gives us the two undefeated teams. It's nice to see number 1 and 2 coming in, especially with the two undefeated, as we've mentioned, undefeated teams. This will give them a chance to, you know, they've been talking about each other all year, and now we'll see what happens.
And neither team is a stranger to the Eastern Maine tournament. We mentioned that Diane Nagel will be the girl they'll be going to in the clutch situations, and Houlton will be trying to work it inside. They've got a lot, the Shiretowners have a lot of depth. They have 4 or 5 guards on that team. They play about 8, he plays about 8 girls all the time, but they've got about 8 girls that are almost interchangeable.
Well, that was their real key in their game against Herman. Herman gave them put on a real nice effort there, but it was so tough to come back against Houlton, who was sending in fresh people all the time. It just seemed like they just kept coming and coming.
Again, if you're just joining us and waiting for and wondering what the score is at halftime, it's not halftime. The game has not yet begun. We've had about a 45. It would normally be halftime, I guess, about now, but we had about a 45-minute rain delay, believe it or not. The roof has been leaking here at the Bangor Auditorium, and the roof is being fixed. I guess a roofer is taking care of that problem. The teams have gone to their huddles and we're about set for the starting lineup, so apparently they have fixed the leak in the roof, or almost, although the bucket is still out on the court. You see the little white bucket near midcourt. Officials for this evening's game walking out on the court are Linwood McHatton of Ashland, John Owen of Calais and Tom Lynch of Calais. Owen and Lynch, the officials, and they are standing around now wondering about that leak, as are the teams who, after warming up again, went back in the huddles, and still no word on whether we're going to start now or have another delay. I don't know what would happen if they delayed it again. Would the teams go back to the dressing rooms and come out for another warm-up session?
Hard to say. I don't think we've been in this situation before. It's kind of interesting looking across the way.
Little surprise.
We see the Mount View team over in a huddle maybe the coach giving them a little bit of strategy or just trying to calm them down a little, whereas Houlton seems pretty relaxed over there, all sitting around, just kind of waiting to see what happens.
Well, it would be a little surprising that they would bring the teams back without having that roof fixed.
Well, they seem to be standing right in the middle, still looking at the ceiling. It is dripping again, we have the word.
So we'll see whether they send the teams back to the dressing room and for a while, or whether we try to play ball later, or what they'll do. I guess it's still being worked on, apparently.
We see some of the girls over there stretching out, trying to keep loose for this game. That's the Houlton squad over there.
We talked a little bit about what to expect from Houlton. We haven't said a whole lot about Mount View. We heard from Coach Downer that he will make adjustments, the appropriate adjustments, as he goes along in this ball game, depending a lot on what the Shires do. And Downer will be starting, no doubt, Deidre Ellis, who has been his leading scorer all season. She has a pile of points already in this tournament. Believe it or not, 40 points, 22 unofficially, 22 in the first game, and 18 in the semifinal. So it'll be the shooting of Ellis which will carry, or will be a big factor for the Mount View Mustangs, and the inside shooting of Nagel for Houlton, a matchup to keep in mind, keep an eye on. Ellis against Nagel. Ellis plays guard forward, and she's 5'9" junior, the sister of Emily Ellis, who starred at the University of Maine at Orono. Others to look for Mount View include Linda Peterson, 5'9" senior, Jessica Gosnell, a 5'9" senior, Tracy Knowles is a 5'5" junior, and Tammy Knowles will occupy the other guard spot of 5'6" junior. So the Mount View Mustangs will be losing a few ball players in Peterson, Gosnell next year, and the Houlton Shires will lose Captain Nagel, Diane Nagel, Kim O'Donnell, the other captain, and the third captain, Teresa Haggerty. But they have a great feeder program in the Shire town, and will no doubt be back in the tournament again next year.
Interesting. Houlton does have the height advantage with Nagel at 6'2". One thing they will be looking forward to after Diane Nagel has gone, they have Barbara Nagel at 6. She's a sophomore this year. So again, it seems like that.
In the semifinal, I guess, we're Big Winter Blues or Cabin Fever by coming to the Bangor Auditorium and cheering on your... Okay, back at the Bangor Auditorium where the saga of the roof leak continues. We are going to have a ball game this evening, but it's starting over an hour late. We were supposed to get underway at 7:05, and in case you joined us during the past few minutes and wondered about the Eastern Maine final between Houlton and Mount View, it is going to be played this evening, and it's going to be played momentarily. But we were having a leaky roof, a drip from the roof of the auditorium into a bucket at about mid-court. When they discovered the leak, they went out and put a bucket under it, and the drops were coming down pretty steadily. They called for professional help. I guess a nearby roofer came and is at this very moment continuing to plug that leak. In the meantime, it is still dripping on the court apparently, and custodians have been out with towels, rubbing the floor every few minutes. And apparently they're going to let the girls start. They're going to let the team start even as the roof is leaking, and send somebody out periodically with a towel to wipe up the wet spots. And if that doesn't work by halftime, we're going to catch up with the starting lineups in just a few moments. The starting lineup for Mount View has been announced. Now the Houlton starters are coming out on the floor, and we'll pick them up for you as the game goes along. If the drip doesn't stop apparently, and if they continue to have to towel up the water, then they'll bring a machine in at halftime and try to make the correction. We weren't sure for a while whether we were going to be able to play this game this evening, but after more than an hour has gone by, we are indeed going to play, and hopefully that water won't cause any problems, because liability, there could be a liability factor here if somebody slipped, I suppose, and got hurt, because the roof is leaking at the auditorium.
Yes, that's a major concern that I'm sure the Principals Association has on their mind right now. When you think about regular games, the way they're played, officials take great care just to make sure that no water from the water bottles is on the floor. So we have a major concern here. So we're going to join the Houlton band right now, playing of the national anthem.
Another outstanding rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, this time by the Houlton High Black and White Shiretowners band. And we're set to get underway in what should be a real exciting contest this evening. Two highly touted, undefeated teams. The game that schoolgirl fans have been buzzing about in Eastern Maine. The dream matchup of this season, two undefeated teams holding up the heel point seedings. Houlton coming in to the tournament, seeded number 1 at 17-0. Mount View at 18-0, seeded number 2. They have both made it quite easily to the final. And the Shiretowners begin things with O'Donnell on the drive, trying to get inside, comes back out with it to Haggerty. And the corner goes to O'Donnell, looking inside toward Nagel. And picking it up is Jennifer Kelly.
As we can see right now, Gosnell right on Nagel. They don't want him getting the ball inside.
Shot by Hunt, Bethany Hunt, putting Houlton on the scoreboard first. Now some pressure in backcourt as Mount View brings it up. Rebound coming down and cleared away by the Houlton Shiretowners. Jennifer Kelly coming quickly back down court to Haggerty. Going over on the right side. Wants to get into O'Donnell. Back out it comes to Haggerty with a long pop. That's no good. Rebound tipped down to the other end of the court, but picked up back there by Bethany Hunt, and the Shires control it. The early lead. Now missed by Nagel, and the rebound comes down to Ellis.
Nice board that time by Deirdre Ellis. Got good position inside. You see a trapping defense.
Tammy Knowles. And Tracy Knowles with the ball. Now Ellis with it. High off the rim. Ellis picks it up in the corner, starts to go in underneath, can't get through there, puts it off to Peterson, and Peterson puts it up and off. And a foul call on Gosnell.
In the rebounding action.
So the Shiretowners will take it back with 6:33 to go in the first period. Their team is up by 2, and Mount View will press in backcourt. Bethany Hunt gets the ball in about the spot of that dripping of the roof leak. Hunt back with the top of the circle, bounce pass to Haggerty. The corner to O'Donnell, loops it in, intended for Nagel, knocked away.
Gosnell with a good job in there denying that ball.
Nagel deflects it out of bounds.
We have people coming onto the court wiping that spot up as the players go by, trying to make it as safe as possible.
Tammy Knowles will handle the ball in backcourt to Deidre Ellis. And Tracy Knowles and Tammy Knowles. The two guards for the Mount View Lady Mustangs. Deidre Ellis, the point producer, the high scorer this season, who rolls one up, gets the roll, it goes in, and the score is knotted at 2.
Deirdre has been their leading scorer. They need a good, strong game from her from the outside tonight.
O'Donnell to Nagel, back to O'Donnell, almost stolen away. Now O'Donnell goes one by one defender and charges into, or runs into Ellis, but the foul, or rather Knowles, but it's a player control foul.
No, I believe we have a blocking foul on that. We can see it right there. Not able to establish position. We have Tracy Knowles picking up that blocking foul.
First foul on Knowles. This is Nagel in underneath, but
We
he's
have a
walking.
travel. Pass a little bit too far in front of her. She couldn't quite catch up with it. Dragged that pivot foot for the travel.
Comes into Tammy Knowles. Takes it all the way up to midcourt. Hands off to Ellis. Almost taken away. Now she races into forecourt. Hands off to Knowles at the top of the circle. Over on the right they go now to Ellis. Moves inside for the jump shot. The top.
Cosnell with a big board right there. Drawing the foul from Diane Nagel. That's got to be part of their strategy. They'd like to see her out of the game. You can't score points from the bench. Big rebound. You see the position that she gets. Able to put it right back up in and loosen the hip.
Good positioning. That puts the 5'9" senior. Jessica down. she's fouled. Right near the water spot. Fouled by Britt.
Replay on that. You see Ellis coming up to receive the pass. And behind the foul right there. Foul on Heidi Britton, her first foul.
I hope that roof leak doesn't have any impact on the game.
We saw it right there. We just saw Ellis slip on that spot.
That's where the grip has been ever since before the game started, long before the game started. That's why we had a late start. We're late getting underway this evening by about an hour and 15 minutes because of a leaking roof here at the Bangor Auditorium, and they're trying to towel it dry while a roofer is up there trying to take care of the leak. Haggerty comes across midcourt now, and a bounce pass to O'Donnell in the corner, holding the ball high, gets it back. Kelly to Haggerty. Kelly is open. Jump shot. Now the rebound comes down to Britton, who puts it right back up. Rebound this time taken down by
another foul.
Hugh Peterson, and a foul over the back.
On Mike Cody.
Foul was on Kim O'Donnell. That's her second foul.
Please come to the main lobby immediately. Mike Cody, 14421.
One more foul on Houlton, and Mount View will be in the 1-on-1 situation. Houlton has 4 fouls. Mount View 2. Mount View leading by 2. And here is Ellis to Peterson. Knowles, rather. Rebound knocked out of bounds and touch pounded last
By Gosnell. Nice hustle inside on those rebounds. Interesting to see how well Jessica Gosnell can handle Diane Nagel inside. It'll be a tough chore.
This is Haggerty in backcourt with 51 seconds left to go in the first period. The team trailing by 2 points. 45 seconds. Looking into Nagel. This is Britton. Nagel with it. Kelly. Now Britton goes inside and puts it off the glass, rolls around the rim and drops out. Knowles with the rebound. Pamela Nelson has checked into the lineup for the Shiretowners. Hunt is out for the time being. Ellis on the right side, bounces once, now bottled up in there, gets it back out to Knowles. Knowles looks it way out to Knowles. Tracy Knowles to Tammy Knowles. Loop in again to Ellis, who put up a jump shot in traffic, and rebound is taken away by the Shires. Haggerty at the gun. And after one period, it's 8-6, and we'll be back in a moment.
You may have a niece or nephew playing in these games, or perhaps a son, daughter, grandchild, friend or neighbor from down the street. Maybe you just like hustling basketball with intensity, emotion, and good sportsmanship. Whatever the case, your cards and letters have been saying thanks for these annual telecasts. We'd like you right now to take an important step for us. Make out a check for $30 or more to MPBN and send it to Basketball, MPBN, Box 1986.
Going at it here at the Bangor Auditorium in the Eastern Maine Girls Class B final. And they're still mopping up the floor from that leak in the auditorium roof.
Getting pretty much what we expected. 2 undefeated teams coming in. We're hoping for a real good game so far in the first quarter. That's what
Second period just underway. Britton with the ball in the corner for the Houlton Shiretowners in the white with the black trim. Mount View green and dark green and white. Long shot by Britton, misses the mark, and Ellis comes away with a rebound. To Knowles coming across with it towards strike. Tammy Knowles back out to Tracy Knowles at the top of the key. Sets up the play over to Tammy Knowles. To Ellis on the right side. Inside it goes to Peterson. Bounces once and puts it up and up. Rather Knowles. Back up and in.
Good position. They were able to get through the zone of Houlton. Got the offensive board. Able to put it back up and in.
Haggerty, nice bounce pass to Nelson, who puts it off the glass, and she draws the foul from Ellis. So heads up quick offense by the Shires. Will put Pamela Nelson on the foul line and draw the foul on Deidre Ellis.
A little bit of a breakdown in the defense right there. Somebody wasn't quite where they were supposed to be. Left a big hole. Ellis came over in a desperation attempt to try to stop the shot.
Only the first on Ellis, but they can ill afford to put Deidre Ellis on the foul line. Ill afford to get Deidre Ellis in foul trouble. There's Pamela Nelson. Puts it up and draws her team to within 2 points with 7:05 to go in the first half. Knowles to Ellis with Houlton pressing full court. Tracy Knowles almost loses the ball away, almost stolen by Teresa Haggerty. Now Gosnell has it. Starts to go, now comes back to set it up. This is Ellis faking once, dribbling, now shooting. And off. Rebound is up. And no good that time by Peterson. Adrian Scheibels is now in the ball game for Mount View.
Mount View doing a good job on the, as we talked about, on the offensive boards down there. Houlton going to have to start using the advantage that they have, which is their height underneath.
Ellis comes back out with it to Knowles. Dribbles once. Tammy Knowles bottled up in there, now puts the shot up anyway and puts it through.
Nothing going on the pass, turns around and says, why not?
One way to get out of the
corner.
jam. 8:27 to go, 12-8, Mount View by 4. Pamela Nelson. Out deep to Kelly. Haggerty is foul out front by Tracy Knowles.
That's Tracy's second foul.
Gina Renski.
Both teams with 4 team fouls.
Tournament office for a message.
Next one will put them in the bonus.
Officials for the ball game this evening, John Owen and Tom Link. The ball will be put in play underneath the Houlton basket with 8:14 to go in the first half. Haggerty has it in the corner and goes to Britton for the long bomb. It's off and Ellis comes down with a rebound.
Looking a little bit like her sister on that play.
Deidre Ellis gets it to Knowles, and now Knowles has it tied up by Haggerty.
And we have a foul called on the action. Foul on Tammy Knowles, picking up her first foul.
Knowles had the ball stolen away by, rather Haggerty had the ball stolen away by Knowles, who was charged with the foul. And now it's almost lost by Knowles again. This time it's deflected out of bounds, but last touch by Houlton. Mustangs put it in play, and it comes to Deidre Ellis. To Knowles. Ellis inside, picked up out front by Leslie Knowlton in the lineup for Mount View. Here's Ellis to Knowles with a shot that's off. Gosnell gets it, and she's fouled underneath.
Gosnell's working real hard underneath, doing a good job. Again, we see offensive boards. You can see it right here. Gets that position inside, and we have the foul over the back.
So Gosnell may be the key for Mount View to getting some of those rebounds inside there, away from the taller Houlton girls.
Yeah, she and Nagel are going right at it. It'd be a good matchup between the two of them.
Nagel, the height advantage, of course, 6'3", 2. Gosnell is 5'9". Mount View Mustangs have their tallest player is Adrian Scheibels at 5'10". They have 3 or 4 girls at 5'9", including Gosnell, but of course Houlton has Diane Nagel at 6'2". Her sister Barbara Nagel at 6 feet. Now it's stolen back, and again Nagel has it. Haggerty, a lot of pressure in backcourt now. Mount View holding on to a 5-point lead as Kelly gets it into forecourt. Gives it back to Nagel. Britton in the corner, back out to Kelly. To Britton, looking for Nagel inside. Now Haggerty with that long one-handed push shot. Rebound coming down, and a foul being called on Britton.
On Britton.
For moving in. going in over the back for the rebound and called for the foul.
That's Britton's third foul. Britton has a nice outside shot for them. As we talked about them shutting off, Mountain View's trying to shut off Houlton's inside game. It'd be a hurt for them. You can see right there, Britton picking up that foul.
Coach Donner's got his tall team in there with Adrian Scheibels. And she proved to be a force on the boards, forcing Britton to go in and try to compete with the rebound. But going up high for the rebound was Scheibels and drawing the foul. A 5'10" junior. Rebound taken down by the Shires. And here's Haggerty with it. Can't leave Haggerty open at that foul line. Now it comes into Nagel for the jump shot from the lane. It bounces off the front of the rim, but she draws the foul.
Houlton that time able to get the ball into their big person, which has been the key for them most of the year.
And of course, Mount View has got to worry about getting a number of fouls in there, trying to stay with Nagel, trying to compete with her on the boards and drawing the fouls. And picking up her first foul for Mount View was Leslie Knowlton. 6'2" Diane Nagel has had an outstanding career at Houlton High School. (14-9) with 4:51 to go in the first period. Nagel's second shot is in the air. And it's a 14-10 ball game. 4:51 to go in the first half. The ball is fired to...
Yeah, we have an airplane.
Paper airplane on the floor. We've got a tie-up on a paper airplane coming out on the floor. And
that's something you really don't like to see. I don't think a lot of the fans realize what harm they could do if someone were to slip on that piece of paper out there.
Bethany Hunt and back in the lineup, and now the ball is deflected out of bounds. And last touch by Houlton. Pass going astray. O'Donnell coming back in for Houlton. And Pamela Nelson taking a rest. Now the pass coming in from Leslie Knowlton. And the Mount View Lady Mustangs control in forecourt. This is Deidre Ellis being bumped by incidental contact there. Bethany Hunt and Ellis coming together. Fans wanted something called. This is Ellis to Knowlton. Calling for Knowlton to come out and meet the ball. Gosnell.
Mount View being patient, looking for that open shot. Not as much scoring as we might have expected. 14-10 with 3:55 left to go in the second quarter.
Halfway through the second period, fairly low score. Another shot misses the mark that time by Scheibels. This is Haggerty back with it. Working the ball around, and the Shires will be a bit patient. But we've got 3 seconds being called in the lane. 3:39 to go, 14-10. The pressure again in backcourt. Ellis breaks it, however, gets it up to Jones now. And she gets it back out front to Tammy Knowles. And Leslie Knowlton controls the ball. Deidre Ellis to Knowlton, 3:23. This is Knowles with that long jump shot off the front of the rim.
Good rebound there by Deidre Ellis. Got it taken away though.
Ellis picks up the rebound but loses it away, and now the Shires control. This is Haggerty with the ball. O'Donnell loops it into Nagel off the glass, and basket.
That's their key.
Will count, and she's fouled.
As you mentioned before, Keith, it is going to be tough to shut Nagel down inside without picking up a few fouls.
By far the tallest girl on the basketball court. The tallest Mount View player is Adrian Scheibels at 5'10". Nagel, as we mentioned, is 6'2". Gosnell going out for a well-deserved rest, but I'm sure it'll be a short rest because they need her in there on the boards. However, she has picked up her second foul, and so they've got to be careful in that respect.
Nagel completes the three-point play.
Leslie Knowlton puts the ball in play. Now Knowlton gets the ball back. Quickly over to Peterson. Ellis to Knowlton. Now the Mustangs will be patient after breaking the press, getting it into Peterson, who turns and puts it up and no good. Nagel with a rebound again, quickly. The outlet pass comes to Haggerty, wasting no time getting the pass out and trying to key the break. Kelly back to Haggerty. She'll put it up from out there. She's open. 2:30 to go in the first half. 14-13. Mount View ahead by 1. O'Donnell. Now Hunt. O'Donnell crosses all the way along the baseline, gets it on the left side. Now it's deflected by Ellis. And it's knocked out of bounds.
Deirdre Ellis, when she did take a hold of the ball, was standing out of bounds. Violation on her. Ball goes to Houlton.
Kelly with it. Jennifer Kelly to Haggerty. O'Donnell inside to Nagel from the lane, and she's fouled. Drawing the foul again as the shorter Mount View players try to hang in there with Nagel and prevent those inside.
You can see right here what they're going to try to do again, get the ball to Nagel. Adrian Scheibel's picking up that foul. That's her first.
Sending Diane Nagel to the foul line. And that will no doubt be a problem for Mount View, keeping Nagel off the foul line. At the same time competing for the rebound. Score is knotted at 14 with 2:11 to go in the first half.
Nagel shoots the ball well from the line.
Putting her team ahead. Houlton still applying that pressure in backcourt. Mount View breaking the press. And it comes in to Knowlton.
Oh, right there, we saw the spill.
It could have been the effect of the water on the court.
We had a foul away from the ball on that play. .1:59 to go in the first half. Teresa Haggerty picked up the foul away from the ball on that play.
Only the first foul on Haggerty in the ball game. Now Haggerty comes away with the rebound.
Gosnell checked back in the lineup.
To Hunt. Up to Pamela Nelson, who is back in for Kelly. But Kelly's still in for O'Donnell. Kelly starts to go inside, and she is traveling.
He had steps on the tape.
Kim O'Donnell taking a breather, and Pamela Nelson, 5'6" junior in the lineup for the Shiretowners. 1:40 left to go in the first half.
Coach Downer put Jessica Gosnell back in. They want to try to, again, keep the ball away from Nagel.
Now a trap out there, and they're calling a foul.
Foul on Haggerty.
So quickly, Haggerty picks up 2.
A big part of Houlton's outside game. Teresa Haggerty.
That'll send Leslie Knowlton to the foul line. And a rebound by Nagel. Coming quickly back with it is Kelly. Handing to Hunt, to O'Donnell. Back to Hunt. Kelly gets it on the left side. Out to Hunt. Setting it up and looking for Nagel inside. Of course, they've got the threat of Haggerty's jump shot if they overload one side, and she's open on the left. But now stolen away, and Knowlton comes away, and now she loses the handle. It's almost taken back by Hunt, and fouling violation is called on Knowlton.
Minute 4 left in the first half. Houlton up by 1, 15-14.
A real duel here between two classy B girls basketball teams. And Nagel spins and puts it in from the side of the lane for the team up 17-14.
Definitely a force on the inside.
It'll be tough for Mount View to contend with as the game moves along. Knowlton has the ball now. Maybe they'll play for the last shot. 37 seconds to go. Mount View setting it up. This is Ellis with it. Fakes once, gets it back out to Knowlton. Over to Knowles. Ellis inside. No daylight. She throws it back, and she'll go backward with it. And the Shires will take it back with 18 seconds showing on the clock. Houlton has the ball and the 3-point lead. If you're just joining us, we're approaching halftime and not the end of the game. The auditorium roof was leaking, and we got a late start. While they are fixing the roof this evening, they're still playing ball and mopping up the wet spots. There's a shot with 8 seconds that misses by Kelly. And coming away quickly, Ellis, 1 second on the clock. And the score at halftime is Houlton 17, Mount View 14. And we'll be back in a moment.
Broadcast of the Eastern Maine semifinals and finals on MPBN is made possible by grants from N.H. Bragg & Sons, distributors of automotive parts and industrial supplies.
Okay, back at the Bangor Auditorium where we're watching exciting Class B basketball, the Eastern Maine final between the Houlton Shiretowners and the Mount View Mustangs. And there is an odd-looking machine on the floor. And Lisa, what's the technical name for that machine?
It looks like a bucket hoister-upper. I'm not quite sure what they call it, but the idea, I guess, from what I gather from the floor, is that they're going to try to get a bucket up toward the roof, hopefully to catch the drip.
We got underway late this evening. If you're just joining us and wondering where the second game is, I guess this girls' game would have been over by now if the roof had not been leaking here at the Bangor Auditorium. A steady drip was coming down on the floor before the teams came out to warm up, and they sopped it up with a towel and then brought a bucket out. The leak persisted. They sent out for professional help for some local roofers who climbed up apparently to try to fix the auditorium roof, and I think they're still working on the roof in the meantime. They've been sopping up the floor with a towel throughout the first half, and now with this machine, this interesting looking machine, they're going to hoist a bucket into the air, apparently up on the lights, which should be an interesting thing to see here. They'll hoist a bucket way up into the top of the auditorium and try to catch the leak from coming down on the floor. We're going down.
Led by Jessica Gosnell with 5 points. Tammy Knowles had 4 points. Deirdre Ellis with 2. Linda Peterson with 2. And Adrian Scheibels with 1 for a total of 14 points. On the other side, Houlton, Diane Nagel was the story. They were able to gain the lead back with her scoring in the second quarter. Nagel was held to 0 points in the first quarter. She came on in the second quarter with 9 points to put Houlton back up on top. Teresa Haggerty had 4 points. Bethany Hunt had 2, along with Pam Nelson with 2. So the big story in that first half was Mount View seemed to let down a little bit on the pressure that they had been applying on Diane Nagel inside. She was able to get the ball either to draw the foul or to go up for the shot inside. Very good foul shooting by Nagel on the inside. She was 5 for 5 from the line. Anytime that you can draw that foul and be able to score points off of it, we'll be all set. Statistics we have from the floor, Mount View was 5 for 23 for 21%. Free throws 4 for 8, 50%, and turnovers 4. Houlton, on the other hand, was 5 for 22 with 22%, and you can see where Nagel helped them out on the line. 7 for 8 from the line, 87%. That's an excellent percentage. Turnovers, they had 8. That's due to Mount View's aggressive defense.
Interesting. So we had nearly the same field goal percentage, but Mount View missing from the foul line. As you look at Rick Bronson up in the top of the Bangor Auditorium, if you're wondering what's just joining us and wondering what's going on, it is halftime at a basketball game, but the roof is leaking here at the Bangor Auditorium, and they've sent Rick Bronson up the pole in an elevator type machine, and he's putting a bucket up there to catch a leak from dropping to the floor. Apparently the key for containing Nagel for Houlton is the key is for Mount View to contain Nagel, and they're bringing in some taller players from time to time and trying to clog up the middle and keep her from scoring, and it is costing Mount View in terms of fouls.
Well, Jessica Gosnell did a real good job in that first quarter and playing the aggressive, tough type ball game that she has to play against Nagel inside. She was taken out just to give her a little bit of a rest. And as we see, that was when Nagel was able to get the ball inside. So we're really looking to Jessica Gosnell to try to contain her inside. Interesting to note, the difference in the score is 3 points. That's also the difference in the foul line, the foul shooting.
Okay, and 87, Houlton is connecting from the foul line, 87% to Mount View's 50%. And the bucket is up there.
Yeah. In most of the games we've seen this week, foul shooting has played a big role. You just can't stress that enough. We have girls work on it in practice night after night. Close games are won on the foul line. We can see the difference right here.
Okay, there's going to be a little bit of a delay here before the start of the second half. And again, I don't know whether this will have any effect on the ball players. I know before the game, because of the rain delay, or the so-called rain delay because of a leaking roof at the Bangor Auditorium, Coach Donato of Houlton was a bit concerned that it may have some effect on his players. Alan Downer, on the other hand, didn't seem too concerned and was glad to get a chance to relax after he got here. Now, I don't know what will happen if they come out at halftime and wait too long before warming up.
Well, we have 4 minutes left on the clock. They've stopped the clock at 4 minutes. I'm assuming that when the girls come back, they will be given those 4 minutes as their warm-up. Still up there trying to get the bucket.
Getting a round of applause from the fans. Another Eastern Maine final to follow this one between Dexter and Rockland. That game will follow directly after our girls game this evening. And by the time these games both get over, it'll be probably after 11 o'clock this evening, maybe midnight. Because this game was delayed by about an hour and 15 minutes. We're only at halftime. And had things gone according to schedule, the boys game would be have started about half an hour ago at 8:35. Rick Bronson is the gentleman's name who's up in the top of the auditorium.
I wonder if he had any idea he'd be on TV tonight. Little publicity.
Apparently trying to fix the roof in the leak with that bucket. He's going to tie that bucket up near a beam near where the roof is leaking. Apparently roofers came in earlier and looked up at the auditorium ceiling and then went outside, and I guess they were going to try to fix the leak, but throughout the first half they were sopping it up with a towel. And so we're going to be a bit late getting underway with the second half. Tomorrow we move into more final Eastern Maine finals. We've gone through the quarterfinal round today. We saw some outstanding games this afternoon and this evening. Tomorrow a D final between Washburn and Central Aroostook High School, two former C teams who moved back into D. Washburn just eked out a win this afternoon, and that was quite a matchup.
Yes, that game riddled with turnovers. A lot of whistles in that one. And we're still watching them trying to figure out some way to stop the leak.
Also tomorrow in boys basketball, another D final. The state final, the Eastern Maine final, will be between Machias and Jonesport Beals. We go on the air tomorrow at 1 o'clock for the girls game. Boys game tomorrow, and the C finals tomorrow evening. A matchup between Penobscot Valley High School and Skank High School in the first game of the evening. Two solid C basketball teams who, even though they're only about 30 miles apart, have not played each other on the season. And the boys final will be between two undefeated teams here tonight. In the girls B final, the boys C final will feature two more undefeated teams in Hodgson and Calais.
Got to give this crowd a little bit of credit here. They've been sitting and waiting a long time. We have, as we mentioned before, a real good turnout. You can look across the way and see a sea of red. And the Mount View side very well represented on our side of the floor.
The fans have been thanked for their patience by tournament officials, and they have been a very patient bunch here this evening. And we have another 16 minutes to go to find out who will advance to the state final next Friday evening. The Shiretowners, should they win, it'll be the second year in a row they've made it. Well, they've been to the state final now since 1982, but they won it for the first time last year. 85, it was Houlton over Herman, and that must be one of the roofers down there sitting overseeing the job.
Seems to be doing a real nice job down there.
I think he looks like he's got things well in hand as the foreman of that operation.
Doing the heavy looking on.
Again, the Shires were called for a while. They were called always the bridesmaid and never the bride since they won the Eastern Maine tourney in 1982, 1983, again in 84, and kept losing the state game. They lost the state game to Lincoln Academy in 82 by a score of 71-60. Lost to Greeley in 83. Lost to Greeley again in 84, and finally won one over Cape Elizabeth by 9 points last year, 53-44. Mount View was last a winner of the Eastern Maine Championship in 1981 when they defeated Houlton 56-48, but they lost the state game to Gorham 50-38. Mount View was in the state game 2 years in a row, and those were the years of Deidre Ellis's sister Emily Ellis, who went on to star at UMO. Well, what do we look for in the second half? I know that the key for Mount View is keeping the ball away from Diane Nagel, and they have a smaller team in there, so Nagel, we might see Nagel on the foul line again before the game is over many times.
Yes, as we said, Jessica Gosnell did a nice job controlling her in the first quarter. She's going to have to keep up that strong effort in the second half. Mountain View does have a real balanced scoring attack. They do shoot the ball well, and as Coach John DiNardo told us before the game, he thought they might have the edge on the outside shooting, although Teresa Haggerty's been doing a nice job in that first quarter scoring from outside.
Interesting operation we're watching here from looking straight up at the ceiling of the Bangor Auditorium. As you can see, Rick Bronson is the gentleman up there tying up the bucket, and it looks like quite an intense operation on the front of Bronson, winding all those ropes around. Hopefully he has the bucket under the league.
Looks a little bit warm up there.
I wonder if he knows as many people are watching him in Eastern Maine this evening.
Get a look at some fans there, patiently waiting.
That operation will be completed, and we will be set to go with the second half of this game between Houlton and Mount View.
Fans of all ages here. Band's doing a nice job. Excuse me, the band from Houlton tonight and the one from Mount View, both doing a nice job keeping the crowd entertained during this wait.
There have been a number of outstanding bands here at the Bangor Auditorium all week, playing for the BC and D schools, entertaining the crowds before and after games and at halftime. And now Rick Bronson is being lowered to the floor, the bucket in place, and hopefully the leak taken care of. Again, they were sopping the floor up all throughout the first half. They had somebody with a towel running out to the spot on the floor to wipe up the water every time the girls would pass by it, and luckily no one was injured. Now they're giving Rick Bronson a round of applause.
The chairman of the committee will hold the pail. We want to thank you for being patient. Your faces have been very kind, believe me. Thank you very much.
Tournament director Woody Bailey thanking all the fans for being patient, and don't tell me we have another leak. I think somebody yelled.
He's going back up.
Okay, he's going back up to adjust the bucket, so they're going to.
It seemed to have been coming down a little bit behind the bucket, so another adjustment.
We have another 16 minutes to play here in the first game of the evening, and no doubt the second game will last until around midnight at least, the way things are going here this evening. Dexter and Rockland and boys Class B action following this game, and tomorrow it's Class D basketball and C finals. So Rick Bronson being hoisted again to the top of the Bangor Auditorium. We finished the semifinal round of basketball this afternoon with Central Aroostook upsetting the favorite Greenville 46-43 in the morning game. This afternoon it was Washburn 38, Machias 36, and now we have the Eastern final between Houlton and Mount View. One major upset today and another very close contest. The major upset was Central Aroostook defeating favorite Greenville. Greenville had won the state championship in Class D last year and came in with an outstanding team this year, and they were bumped off by Central Aroostook 46-43. Washburn eked out a win over Machias 38-36. So Central Aroostook and Washburn advanced into the D final. We have two teams that were in Class C last year moving down to play Class D ball and ending up in the Eastern Maine final. And also tomorrow evening it'll be Central Aroostook, or rather Penobscot Valley against Skank, and those two teams should match up pretty well in Class C. Two tall, well-balanced teams who play a similar kind of basketball.
We've been seeing right along that once they get into the tournament, record doesn't mean a whole lot. We did in Class B end up with the two best records facing each other in the finals, but in the other classes we've been seeing the underdog team coming in and really giving the higher seed team a run for their money.
Throughout this tournament and again this evening, in case you're just joining us, we've been talking a lot with coaches and other basketball authorities and officials about the bench decorum rule, the seatbelt rule, and coaches seem to be indicating they can get along with it, although some don't like it. We've heard from a number of coaches during the tourney, and they've mentioned no one has really mentioned being strongly opposed to the seatbelt rule. Some of them probably aren't in love with it because of individual coaching styles. Some coaches like to get up and run back and forth in front of the bench and call out instructions to players, and that nowadays is a technical foul, depending on the interpretation given it by the official.
Yes, also one thing that fans may not realize, that rule applies also to all the players along the bench. I used to have a problem with players jumping up to question calls made by the officials. The bench decorum rule also applies to those players. They must remain seated.
You made the point, the good point, I think, the other night, that often the attitude of the players reflects the attitude of the coach. In other words, you have a mild-mannered coach, and he often will have mild-mannered, gentlemanly players, and vice versa.
Well, I think the coach also in his coaching capacity serves as a role model. A lot of the teams we've seen fine coaches coming into this tournament, very well-disciplined teams. You know, it just, as I said, they do serve as a role model. The seatbelt rule that we have been talking about, by far the most controversial rule change of the season. Some coaches, when you talk to them, say they would like to see a few modifications in it, but by and large, they agree it has helped clean up a lot of the antics that were going along on the sidelines.
What likely modifications would we see, and would you think might be appropriate?
I think mainly what the coaches want to be able to do is they want to be able to get up and talk with their players. You know, some coaches are kneelers. They like to kneel in front of the bench, help call out defenses, point out things that are happening on the floor. At this point, they are not allowed to kneel in front of their bench.
Or pray for a victory.
That's another point. Some have also mentioned they'd like to have, you know, a restricted bench area that they are allowed to roam in. They're not questioning their right to argue with the officials. All the coaches realize that that is not appropriate. That is part of the reason the rule was put in. Their only modification they would like to see is that they are allowed to coach their players from the sideline.
Again, here the time is closing in on 9:15, and we're only at halftime in the first game of the evening. And both teams back out on the court warming up after we had a crew come in and placed a bucket way up in the rafters to catch a leak. And we'll be getting underway here in just a couple of minutes. The score at halftime is 17-14. The Shiretowners of Houlton coming in, rated number 1 with a record on the season of 17-0, playing the undefeated Mount View Lady Mustangs with their season record of 18-0. And we'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Bernie Rossetti. We at MPBN sincerely hope you're enjoying our 1986 high school basketball tournament coverage. These stations are viewer-supported. That means that we depend upon you to help keep us on from year to year.
Wiping up the wet spots on the floor, and luckily there were no serious slipping out there by the girls. A couple of girls slipped in that area, but not sure it was a result of the water or not. But in any case, we hope the problem is resolved this evening, and that in the meantime they can fix that roof leak before tomorrow. We're about set to get underway. Both teams back in their respective huddles. The Houlton girls talking things over with Coach John Donato, and Mount View getting last-minute instructions for the start of the second half from Coach Alan Downer, and we'll be set to jump center here in a moment. Mount View Mustangs with their backs to your screen. And Tracy Knowles leads her team back out on the court. And they will put the ball in play to start the second half. And the very patient crowd begins to applaud both teams. Deidre Ellis brings it in traffic. Bounce pass to Knowles, back to Ellis. Second half gets underway. Eastern Maine final in Class B. Shot by Knowles is in. Right away, Mount View puts it in.
The perimeter shooting is going to be a key for them. Pretty hard to take it inside with Nagel in there.
Bethany Hunt at the top of the circle. Over to Kelly. O'Donnell. Back to Hunt. Now comes to O'Donnell. Bounce pass to Jennifer Kelly. They want to go inside to Nagel. And now Haggerty with it. Back out to Hunt for the pop from the foul line. The top of the rebound, Gosnell, and she's tough inside, and that's what they've got to have. Can't allow too many offensive rebounds by the taller Nagel. Now Deidre Ellis takes steps as she starts her drive a little bit too anxious to move in the lane that time.
Lost her footing a little bit on that, traveled in the process.
She saw daylight, saw that opening, and anticipated going in there, and took steps. And now it's lost at
Good
the other
hustle
end.
by Knowles on that one. Tracy Knowles diving to get the ball.
Lost and tied up, but the alternating possession rule will give it back to the Shiretowners. 7:02 to go in period number 3. Haggerty with the ball outside for Houlton to Britton, who just came into the lineup. Inside for the shot that's up and off is Kelly. The rebound taken down by Knowles.
Mount View only giving them one shot down there. That's what they have to do, try to control those boards.
Deidre Ellis on the right side, going inside on pass to Peterson. He loops the pass back out to Tracy Knowles. 6:37 Knowles at the top of the circle. Gives it over to Deidre Ellis, starts to go inside, stops, and now spins back around and puts it up. Gosnell saves it in, but it's taken outside quickly, coming down toward his Haggerty. 2-on-2, and she runs headlong into Knowles.
Tracy Knowles with the blocking foul on that. Trying to get over to cut her off. And that's going to be Tracy Knowles' third foul.
Key people beginning to pick up a number of fouls.
See the replay there. Ellis trying to keep up with her, couldn't quite do it. Knowles came over, tried to help out, but was caught with a blocking foul.
Haggerty going right straight to the basket. And she puts her team up now by 2.
Foul shots, as we mentioned, foul shots going to be important here. Houlton's been shooting very well from the line.
Very low-scoring game to this point. Haggerty puts it in to make it 19 with 6:23 to go in the third period. Houlton will bring the pressure now in backcourt. Edith Ellis coming up with it. Looking for someone. Bounces to Knowles, and now over to Tammy Knowles. Tracy Knowles to Tammy Knowles. Tracy is 43. And Tammy is 11. Here's Deidre Ellis with a jump shot in and out. Rebound, Britton. Heidi Britton clears it to Jennifer Kelly. Lisa Haggerty, the captain. Comes to the top of the circle. To O'Donnell, looking into Nagel. She gets her underneath for the spin around jump shot. Very effective weapon.
Houlton pressing in the back court.
Trying to get a trap going, and now it's Ellis inside the side of the lane. The shot was partially blocked, put up, and in by Gosnell.
Gosnell in the right place at the right time that time. Picked up the deflection. Able to put it back in.
This one has been a real duel all the way into the third period. They go right down to the wire this way, 21-18 with 5:23 to go in the third period. O'Donnell has it inside to Nagel. That's what they want to do, and they draw the foul on Peterson.
Okay, we can see again Houlton going to their strength, getting the ball inside to Nagel. Peterson got caught with a reach. That's her first foul.
Only one on Linda Peterson. She's 5'9", and she'll have to play in there on underneath.
Yeah, she's helping out Jessica Gosnell underneath. They like to try to keep two people on Nagel. As you can see right there, fronting her. Actually, they have three on her right there.
Stephanie Britton, she's open. She'll take that shot to the side and up and connects, but this time she misses. It's right back up, however, and in by Kelly.
A strong offensive rebound.
Jennifer Kelly, 23 to 18. Now it's stolen back. O'Donnell at the foul line, in underneath to Haggerty.
Kelly takes it right up.
Kelly again with a shot off the glass.
And that's Tracy Knowles picking up what I believe is her fourth foul. That's going to hurt Mount View. You see it again, the interception. Dishes the ball off there, and yes, that is Tracy Knowles with 4 fouls.
So a sudden spurt or a sudden streaking here by the Houlton Shiretowners puts the team up 25-18. So that pressure in backcourt, the trapping, pays off, and they get a couple of
getting their
easy
points
buckets
from inside. Able to work it in on Mount View's zone. Again, that's what we've been saying is going to be their key, getting the ball inside.
Both teams have the inside shooters and the perimeter shooters. Again, Houlton, one of those teams that has the added dimension of having people who can connect from outside, people like Heidi Britton and Teresa Haggerty, and being able to go inside to Diane Nagel for the high percentage shot. Mount View, on the other hand, has a bevy of good shooters, but no tall girl to match Nagel inside, so they've got to double team in there and try to keep them getting in foul trouble. People like Linda Peterson at 5'9" and Jessica Gosnell at 5'9", both working inside, but trying to keep the fouls down, because that could be a key factor late in the game, sending Diane Nagel to the line.
See Tracy Knowles staying in there. She has 4 fouls on her. She's going to have to be real careful not to pick up that 5th.
Jennifer Kelly, a 5'6" sophomore, has done an outstanding job for the Shiretowners. Only a sophomore, so the depth is there, and the people keep coming back. And Houlton keeps returning to this tournament. They lead now 26-18. Tracy Knowles in foul trouble. She's got the ball. She's got 4 fouls on her. Now we've got a foul on Houlton as Knowles tries to go by Jennifer Kelly.
Kelly caught with a blocking foul on that play.
Referees for this evening, John Owen and Tom Lynch. Inside, now it's lost away, and Kelly and Knowles struggle for it on the sideline. Alternating possession, will give it to Mount View. Knowles Nelson backcourt, across the midcourt stripe, gives it over to Tracy Knowles. Bounce pass to
Mountain View really spreading that zone out now, coming out on, Houlton's coming out on Mountain View shooters outside.
Ellis wants to go inside, gets bottled up in there, gets it back to Knowles, can't get a shot away at the foul line. Loops it between the legs back to Tracy Knowles. Now it goes inside, intended for Knowles. It's lost away and picked up and put up and off. The time by Adrian Scheibels.
Kim O'Donnell that time picking up her third foul. Kim O'Donnell, as we mentioned earlier, the girl who had blood blisters on her feet after that Herman game. We can see right now she picks up the foul.
Kim O'Donnell picking up her third foul and sending Adrian Scheibels to the line for Mount View.
O'Donnell goes out to take a rest. They don't want her picking up her fourth.
Scheibels is a 5'10 junior. Diane Nagel is 4 inches taller than the tallest Mount View player. Well, Mount View does have one girl 5'11", however, but Kathy Quinlan has not been in the ball game yet. The tallest girl out there for Mount View now is Adrian Scheibels at 5'10". And now almost lost away. This is Haggerty with it at the foul line. Gets it over to Kelly, back to Haggerty at the top of the circle, setting up the play. Back out it comes, and lost in backcourt by Haggerty.
Went out of bounds on that. Britton tried to pass the ball back outside, but a little bit too high for Haggerty to handle.
So Knowles put the ball in play to Deidre Ellis of Mount View. The Mustangs will set it up. Knowles loops it over to Knowles in underneath. Shot is up and off by Scheibels.
Paper thrown out on the floor. He's picking it up off the floor now.
Haggerty, top of the circle. Over to Nelson, who's in the lineup now for Houlton. And now back over on the other side. In the corner, this is Britton to Kelly. Back to Heidi Britton. Way out deep now. Houlton's going to be a bit patient for a while. They lead by 6 with 3 minutes to go in the third period. This is Nelson to Britton. Back to Nelson. And now it's taken by Kelly, and we're going to go into a semi-stall here.
It's a little bit of a slowdown game. They're in no hurry to go to the basket. They want to look for the good open shot.
I'd like to go into Nagel for that high percentage shot. Mount View would like to prevent that. Nagel at the foul line now.
Coming out high,
post, going back inside. Nagel underneath to go right back to the glass and off. Rebound is up and in by Nelson.
That time able to get 2 offensive rebounds. You can't give Houlton three opportunities underneath the hoop.
So that very patient offense paid off for Houlton that time, going for the high percentage shot and getting the rebound for the taller players in there and going up by 8. Now Mount View is struggling for it. Ellis gets a pass away, and Knowles goes in and puts it up, and she's fouled.
Draws a foul. Pam Nelson picks up her first foul on that play.
Shot by Knowles, goes in and out. 2:05 to go, another airplane going down. The fans were very patient while the leak in the roof was being fixed, and now they're a little impatient.
Getting a little restless.
28-21. Nagel breaking the press to Haggerty. Now Mount View drops back. In the corner, Heidi Britton to Nelson, out to Kelly. Back to Britton, inside to Nagel. Jump shot, spin around jump shot. She's very, very effective inside. Spins and puts it up without coming to the floor.
Houlton's starting to pull away in this game now, using the strength that's been getting them where they've been all year. Going inside, being patient.
Now running together on Knowles and Nagel.
Player control foul. Nagel had good position, had blocked up the middle. Knowles tried to go through it.
Knowles went straight in and went right into Nagel, Diane Nagel. A foul called on Knowles. That's her second. Again, Shiretowners. Gosnell is stealing the ball away from O'Donnell. Now gets the pass back to Ellis. Knowles. And takes Tammy Knowles inside. Shot is up and good.
Got inside position that time on Nagel. Was able to put it up.
Adrian Scheibels at 5'10", able to get inside. Now that backfoot pressure coming again. Britton back to Kelly, back out to Haggerty to Kelly. And now they're going to play a little patience. Offense again, kicked out of bounds by Tracy Knowles.
54 seconds left on the clock. Houlton may try to work for the last shot.
Britton with a long jump shot that misses. Nagel back up and in. And that's a telling sign, a telling factor right now in this ball game is Nagel's ability to score from inside.
Another player
control foul, this time on Deidre Ellis. 2 on Ellis.
Houlton establishing big position. Mountain View a little bit frustrated at this point. They see the game, Houlton starting to pull away from them. They're trying to get down the court as quick as possible.
Houlton will be in the 1-on-1 situation. They are when they go to the line now, but still have only 3 team fouls and keeping Mount View from going into the 1-on-1 situation. So they're in a real advantageous position right now. If they play control ball like they're doing, they're up now by 9 points and seem very patient. A shot outside, however, by Haggerty misses the mark, and now quickly Mount View will get down with 12 seconds to go in the third period. 12 seconds. Ellis to Knowles, Tammy Knowles. Inside Gosnell with a rebound. She's fouled.
Heidi Britton picking up the foul there.
Gosnell drawing the foul from Heidi Britton.
That'll be Britton's 4th foul.
So another key player getting in foul trouble. Heidi Britton picking up her 4th of the game.
Heidi adds to Houlton's outside game. She's done a nice jump shot. So when they can't get the ball into Nagel, often they look to her.
Coach Donato calls her his super sub, and she has been 6th man. She came in 6th last year and comes in and does a lot of scoring for Houlton and plays a key role. And we'll be back in a moment.
You know, the young men and women who are participating in this basketball tournament have spent a great deal of time getting ready for these games. So too have the men and women of MPBN. You know, we've been planning and preparing to bring you this coverage again this year as we have in the past.
Okay, back at the Bangor Auditorium to go down the stretch in the final 8 minutes of this Eastern Maine Championship game between the Houlton Shiretowners and the Mount View Lady Mustangs. Houlton up by 9, 32-23. And a real close contest to date. And perhaps a lower score than we might have anticipated in this game, at least early. Now the score is building up, however, and it's the Shiretowners heading to it 40 points. It could be, both teams could be scoring in the 40s here before we're over. 7:54 left to go in the ball game, and the Shires have it. Bethany Hunt is called for traveling.
I think we're going to see Houlton try to go with that control game that seemed to work for him in the 3rd quarter. Mountain View, on the other hand, is going to have to come down, make a run at them now. They can't afford to let them get up by much more than they are now. Score 32-23.
The key will be containing Diane Nagel inside and also shutting off the outside shooting of Haggerty and Brett. Now it's stolen away. It's going back by Houlton. Hunt gives it over to Haggerty, or rather Kelly, and she's fouled going in.
Ellis picks up the foul there. See the replay. Ball stolen away. Ellis coming back, reaching in. That's Deirdre's 3rd foul.
Now the key Mount View player in a bit of foul trouble. 3 fouls with 7:40 to go in the ball game. Jennifer Kelly, Class 6 sophomore for Shiretowners. There's a lot of poise for a sophomore playing a good game. She's had a good tournament.
Houlton's been shooting well from the line all night.
Shot is up and good. 34-23 with 7:42 to go. Ellis with it in backcourt, guarded by Hunt. Now gets it to Knowles, back to Ellis as they come into forecourt. Gosnell in the corner. She stops and looks for somebody in underneath her. Ellis, who puts it up and in. Nice move by Ellis, spinning around, jumping and firing it through.
She went right at Nagel on that one. Went up over her, able to score.
Lead for Houlton is 9 with 7:20 to go in the ball game. O'Donnell holding the ball high, guarded closely by Knowles, gets it out to Haggerty to Hunt. At the 3-point stripe. Line the Windjammers use in the Continental Basketball Association games. Now a foul being called on Knowles.
Tammy Knowles picks up her third foul, I believe. Yes, it's her third foul.
And it will send Kim O'Donnell to the foul line. 5'7" senior who has played a dependable, steady role for the Houlton Shiretowners. O'Donnell had 21 points in the semifinal game that Houlton won over Herman 62-51.
See Coach Alan Downer calling the timeout. Wants to talk things over with his girls. Stay tuned next for the boys Class B final. We have a big crowd on hand. Dexter versus Rockland.
Number of people from Dexter, in fact, as many people from Dexter probably as from anywhere, were here at the beginning of from the start of the girls' game on, and cheering, up and cheering and enjoying the girls' basketball game, awaiting the start, the late start of the boys' game. Understand they have contained the leak in the bucket that they hoisted to the top of the auditorium, and it's just a slow leak dribbling into the pail up there, the bucket, and it's well under control, so apparently no problems tonight or tomorrow. Again, if you're just joining us, the girls' game started about an hour late, over an hour late, because of a slow leak in the auditorium roof, but that has apparently been taken care of by a bucket that was hoisted through the roof. And now we've got a tie-up on the rebound, and the alternating possession rule means that the Mustangs will have a chance to put the ball through the hoop here if they can get it down underneath. Deidre Ellis up to Gosnell with 7:01 showing on the clock. Back out it comes to Ellis, spins and pushes over to Knowles, who pops it up and no good. Haggerty will race down quickly in the forecourt. And some fans wanted steps, but she gets the pass away to Kelly, back to Haggerty, to Hunt, to Kelly. This is Kim O'Donnell holding the ball high now. And it comes to Kelly, back out to Hunt.
As we suspected, Houlton going to a little bit more of a control game.
They've got to run 6 minutes and 26 seconds off the clock, and this one will be over, and they will have advanced. But that 9-point lead is a slim one when you're playing a team like Mount View that can score in a hurry. However, they'll take a lot of time, be very patient, and try to get it inside.
One thing Coach John Donato was talking about before the game, he realizes, as you can see right here, Mount View does put a lot of pressure on the ball out toward the top of the key. He felt he was going to have real strong, crisp passes out front so that they couldn't create the turnovers and then go down to score off of it.
That's exactly what they're doing right now. Houlton firing it around the perimeter. They're very quick, crisp passes, as you said. And the clock is ticking down, 5:42, and they've been stalling the ball here for some time. And Norris is out and commits the foul, trying to get the ball back. That's exactly what the Shires wanted.
I believe that's going to be Knowles' fourth foul. So both Tammy and Tracy in foul trouble for Mount View.
Got a substitution now for Mount View. Tammy Knowles going out.
We see right there.
And Leslie Houlton coming in.
A little bit of frustration. Houlton's trying to slow the ball down. Mount View realizing time's running out. They need to get the ball back.
5 minutes and 40 seconds until a new Eastern Maine champion will be crowned. And a 10-point lead now for Houlton. Haggerty puts it up and off. Rebound tapped high and lost out of bounds. Last touched by Mount View. Stepping out with it that time was Adrian Scheibels. It'll come out deep to Haggerty, and she will be in no hurry to put it up. O'Donnell cross court to Bethany Hunt. O'Donnell again goes inside with it underneath and loops it up, and she draws the foul. They're calling a player control foul. The ball hangs on the rim for a while, but the foul is being called on Houlton.
That's a big call. She was able to, as we'll see here, tries to go baseline, gets by Ellis, and you saw the contact there.
So Kim O'Donnell putting it up left-handed, rolling it off, but she's called for the player control foul. That's 4 on Kim O'Donnell. And now we've got a foul going the other way being called on Bethany Hunt. So Houlton needlessly committing fouls at this point, a couple of bad fouls, especially when they're in the controlling situation, a 10-point lead, and Hunt going for the steal that time and sending Knowles to the foul line.
Big foul shots here. Mount View's going to need to score each time they have possession of the ball.
Tracy Knowles misses the mark. It's knocked out of bounds. However, last touch by Houlton. 5:19 to go in the game. 35-25. Tammy Knowles checking back in, and she will be replacing Leslie Knowlton.
Both Knowles girls, as we mentioned, with 4 fouls each. They're both in the ball game. Mount View's got to go with their strength.
Ellis' shot misses, and now coming back with it for Houlton is Hunt. Stops in backboard, gets it off to Haggerty, who will set the play and control the action. And it'll no doubt be a slow-paced attack from the Shires for the next 5 minutes. No need to hurry with that 10-point lead and 5 minutes to go. 4:55 now. Nagel controls at the top of the circle. Coming out to help out. Haggerty, bounce pass to Bethany Hunt. Now she'll look back outside for Pamela Nelson.
Mount View playing that aggressive defense, going to have to come out. They need to get the ball.
Drawing Mount View out a bit, but 4:35. There's going to be desperation fouls here before too long in the effort to get back in this game. It'll be out of reach here in a minute or so. And now a timeout being called by Houlton, and they'll talk over the strategy. Do they want to continue playing ball control?
I think what he wants to tell them right now, they do want to eat time off the clock. But again, as we talked about before, he realizes the strength of Mountain View's defense, that they do create a lot of turnovers. They try to come down, score points off those turnovers in a hurry. He wants his girls to make sure they are using the good, crisp passes to prevent those turnovers.
A good number of the turnovers seem to be forced when Houlton was trying to break the press, however. When they're controlling the ball out and being patient and using the good passes and the good, sharp, quick passes, they seem to be turning the ball over less and forcing Mount View to come out and commit the fouls. The turnovers seem to be when both teams are racing back and forth, trying to break the press or on the rebounds.
Houlton's sitting in pretty good position right now with a 10-point lead, 4:22 left in the game. They right now just want to eat time off the clock. Mountain View, on the other hand, has got to get the ball back. And as I said before, they've got to score with each possession. They've got to make up 10 points in a hurry. It's tough to come back against a team with Houlton's strength. They can't afford to be missing the shots, not getting points out of their possession.
Okay, 4:22. In with it now is Kelly, Jennifer Kelly in the lineup. Bethany Hunt takes the ball all the way over to the right side on the dribble. Gets it into Kelly, guarded closely by Knowles. Back out as Nagel comes out. Post up and help with the offense. Haggerty.
Mountain View going
inside to Nagel and a foul.
Mountain View going man-to-man. Now trying to pick everybody up. Good patient ball handling continues for the Shiretowners, and
Ryan Nagel draws the foul, and the 6'2 senior will go on the line. O'Donnell checking back in, and Pamela Nelson going to the bench. Adrian Scheibels gets called for the foul. That's the second foul on Scheibels. And Nagel calmly pokes it through. Nagel had an outstanding state championship game last year in the game won by Houlton against Cape Elizabeth, 53-44. And now she's hoping to help her team advance again to that state game.
She does a nice job on the line.
The team is up by 12 with 4 minutes to go. Getting down to the point where it may be out of reach for Mount View unless they can put the ball in the hoop a few times here. Underneath, up and off by Scheibels, and it's taken away again by Houlton. O'Donnell is fouled by Scheibels, who tries to get the ball back.
That's Scheibels' third foul. We see Mount View realizing right now the game's getting out of their hands, just trying whatever they can do to get the ball back, hoping to create a turnover. But in the process, they're picking up some fouls.
Mount View has a big hill to climb right now. They're down by 12 with 3:43 to go in the ball game. But checking back in is Leslie Knowlton for Mount View. And going back to the bench is Adrian Scheibels. And Tim O'Donnell is on the foul line for the Shires. A 13-point lead with 3:43 to go. Looking more and more like another berth in the state final game for the Lady Shires. Kim O'Donnell playing her final season for Houlton.
Yes, Kim's one of the 3 seniors on the team, with all the tri-captains on the team, Diane Nagel, Teresa Haggerty, and Kim O'Donnell in their last season for Houlton.
And now stolen back by Houlton, and a foul being committed.
That's going to be number 5. Number 5 on Tracy Knowles.
Tracy Knowles will be back, however, another season for Mount View Mustangs. Had an outstanding tournament, and one of the team leaders for the Mount View Mustangs is fouling out here late in the ball game.
And you see the fans giving her a good round of applause. Played a nice
fans
game.
on both sides of the auditorium.
That's nice to see in a game like this. You got 2 top-notch teams coming in.
A lot of patience and sportsmanship being shown by the fans here after the late start. They had to wait around for the game to begin about an hour after the schedule start time.
That's a credit to all the communities that come to these games. Doing a real good job here.
And Haggerty rolls it off. Rebound to Ellis. They'll have to get moving here. 39-25. They trail by 14 with 3:26 to go. Ellis up and off. Rebound is up and off that time by Scheibels.
Gosnell
with a rebound. Up and off. This time by Knowlton. And a foul being called on Houlton.
O'Donnell picks up that foul. That's going to be 5 for O'Donnell.
So Kim O'Donnell will go to the bench and get a good hand again from fans on both sides of the court. Mount View fans giving her a hand, as well as the Houlton fans, and now the Dexter and Rockland fans who've been in this auditorium for quite some time waiting for the start of the boys game. That game will follow directly after this one. Rockland will play Dexter for the Class B Eastern Maine final.
3:18 left to go. Houlton up 39-25.
5-5. Knowlton puts the ball up and off. And a traveling violation on the rebound. So Houlton will try to control the ball now. 3:15 and a 14-point lead. It'll be the first loss on the season for Mount View. Now in the effort to get the ball back.
And
interesting, a player control foul. And the fans.
Tammy Knowles thinking she had just fouled out. Call going the other way.
Fans are a little angry at that call. A boo sign is hoisted in the air. Deidre Ellis, 3:09. And a shot is up and off by Knowles. Rebound taken down and put back up and in, this time by Scheibel. And now we're down to a 12-point lead, and the pressure coming from Mount View. Ball taken back by Mount View, and a foul on Houlton.
These Mount View girls aren't giving up. They're staying right in this ball game.
Bethany
Right
Hunt
down to the
committing the
wire.
foul. And so that will send Leslie Knowlton to the foul line for 1 and 1.
And we have a timeout called on the floor.
So we've got a timeout on the court, and Mount View trying to get something going for the final 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 52 seconds here. It may be a little late to climb back in this one. They're down by 12, but it's been done before.
Yeah, that's against a team like Houlton, that's a lot of points to have to make up. But as you can see what they've been trying to do in these last few seconds, again, they are trying to, draw that turnover, score off of that as quickly as they can.
All the action live from the Bangor Auditorium, and tomorrow more of it as we move into C and D finals. We've passed the quarterfinal round, the semifinal round. We're in our first Eastern Maine final right now in D basketball between Houlton and Mount View. And tomorrow the C finals and D finals will get underway here at the Bangor Auditorium at 1 o'clock. So we hope you'll be with us for our opening telecast for the girls D final between Central Aroostook and Washburn. Tomorrow evening.
Leslie Knowlton on the line here.
Tomorrow evening we'll have a C final, Penobscot Valley and Skank, and that should be an interesting matchup. Now the rebound coming down to Houlton Haggerty, and Mount View going to have to foul again.
A lot of pressure right there. Deidre getting a hand on it, but it went out of bounds.
They steal it, moves it out of bounds, so Houlton will continue to maintain possession with 2:46 to go in the ballgame. A 12-point lead for the Houlton Shiretowners.
All 5 players from Mount View in the backcourt applying pressure. Gosnell picks up the foul.
The scrappy Mustangs continue trying to get the ball in backcourt, and the fouls being committed late in the game and the leak in the roof we had earlier this evening have lengthened the time of this game to almost 10 o'clock now. And so the second game may be closing in on midnight before the champion is crowned in Class B boys basketball. Deidre Ellis coming away with it, and she gives it to Adrian Scheibels. Back to Ellis. And Knowles moving into the foul line. Jump shot, Knowles, nice foul, jump shot from the foul line by Knowles, Tammy Knowles. 10 points now, and a foul in backcourt quickly is picked up by Leslie Knowlton. So once again, time is out, and we'll walk back to the other end of the court. Confusing to some of the ball players and the officials is the fact that somebody in the crowd, somebody in the stands has been blowing a whistle, and making some of the fans wonder what the infraction was when nothing has happened. So Teresa Haggerty pulls her team ahead by 11, and now 12. 41-29, 2:25 to go in the ball game. Deidre Ellis coming back from Mount View, trapped at midcourt, but gets a pass away to Knowles, who goes in, fires it in underneath to Gosnell. She's in there, but can't put the ball in. Coming back, racing back the other way, and being fouled is Jennifer Kelly.
Leslie Knowlton picking up that foul. I believe that will be her third.
Jennifer Kelly, no doubt, will be one of the leaders in the future for Houlton. She is only a sophomore and has played a very outstanding tournament for a sophomore. She's a 5'6" sophomore and will no doubt be a team leader for the Lady Shires and follow in the tradition of a number of outstanding ball players. They just keep coming. There's currently a good feeder system in the Houlton school system.
Yes, you have to credit the feeder system for the team to be able to go to the tournaments as often as they have in the past few years.
The young girls see the success that the older girls are having or have been having for the past 4 or 5 years, and the tradition just carries on through.
Yeah, everybody wants to be a part of it. 43-29, 2:11 to go in the ball game. And the
Houlton Shiretowners are about to be crowned champions again. Gosnell puts it up and in. 43-31, 2 minutes. And we're going to have a timeout now to let both coaches talk it over and decide how they want to finish out the final 2 minutes. And what can Mount View do aside from going for the ball and backcourt?
That's about it. They're going to have to force those turnovers. That's what they've been trying to do most of the game. They have been picking up fouls, and they've got a few key players. As we mentioned, Tracy Knowles is out of the game with fouls right now. Her sister Tammy has 4 fouls. If she were to go out, there's not much chance of them having much of an offensive punch to get back into it. 2 minutes, not a lot of time left. Again, Houlton's going to be trying to slow the ball down. They just want to eat up some clock.
Houlton High School, if they win this game, will be 20-0, and Mount View will be 20-1. The Mustangs came into the tournament seeded number 2 at 18-0. The Shire is 17-0, and it's figured to be a good final, and it has been.
Yes, Mount View, you've got to look for them being strong again next year. They are graduating 2 seniors in Jessica Gosnell and in Kathy Quinlan. But again, they're going to have the Knowles and Deirdre Ellis back, so there's a strong nucleus coming back.
Mustangs fighting for their lives here. And the clock ticks away on them as they trail by 12 with 2 minutes. They'll still bring that pressure in backcourt and perhaps try to trap.
Well, there's a turnover they were looking for.
Getting it back as Breton loses the handle.
So they got to put some points in a hurry.
Okay, Knowles coming up with it. 150. Houlton backs off. Knowles goes to the foul line. Puts up a jump shot. 43-33. 10 points again. 142. Houlton having trouble getting the ball up the court. Now
the
it's
hand on
knocked
it.
away, and we've got a tie-up. But this time the ball will go to Houlton.
That's the alternating possession rule. Advantages and disadvantages. It has sped up the game, but you almost wish that when you make a good play like that, you'd be able to have the chance to go for the jump ball.
Agony going right for the hoop instead of stalling the ball and giving it back to Mount View. Deidre Ellis. Ellis moves in to Knowles for that soft jump shot that's in and out. Rebound taken down by Nagel and stolen back by Gosnell. Shot by Ellis goes in and she's fouled.
Draws the foul. Mustangs still making a run for him.
Not over yet with 1:15, an 8-point lead for Houlton, but they failed to put the game away.
You see right here, Knowles takes the shot. Gosnell gets it. Back to Knowles, to Ellis, who drives, scores, and has an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Touched on the arm that time by Jennifer Kelly, and that's the second foul on Kelly.
She hits on the foul shot.
Now we've got a 7-point ball game, and racing down through the defense is Haggerty and loses the handle, but she's fouled.
Wesley Knowlton picking up the foul there. Again, you see that Mount View just doing whatever they can to get the ball. Bodies flying everywhere, going for it.
Haggerty racing through the pack there, going frantically down court. And picking up the foul, and she's on for 1-1. Spreads it out again to an 8-point lead. Chance to put her team up by 9.
Houlton's got a lot of points from the line tonight. As a team, they're shooting very well.
And that time, 45-36, and now a 9-point lead, and it's looking bleak for the Mustangs. They made a run at it, though, and came back, and now it's nearly impossible with 1:08 to go and a 9-point lead for the Shires.
Again, Houlton's giving them a little bit of an opportunity to get back into this. As we mentioned, they came right down and took that quick shot, not eating much time off the clock. They, right now, with that lead, I'm sure Coach Donato's telling them, we just want to sit on the ball. We don't need any more points. We need to take 1 minute and 8 seconds off the clock, and we're going to be the Eastern Maine champs.
And it'll be a final high school championship for Diane Nagel, Kim O'Donnell, and Teresa Haggerty. They're losing 3 outstanding ball players, but as we've noted, they keep coming back with more and more underclass players, and will no doubt be right in the thick of the hunt for the title again in 1987, when the tournament rolls around again in 1987.
Mount View will put the ball in play. Have another substitution coming in. For Houlton, Pam Nelson checks in.
Heidi Britton going back to the bench. Peter Ellis with it. 1:05 seconds. And here's Tammy Knowles to the foul line. Back to Ellis for the jump shot. In and out. Rolls off the rim. Now taken down by Houlton. Kelly to Nagel. Up to Haggerty. Racing hard and stolen back. Knocked out of bounds. And last touch by Ellis.
Ellis sprinting up the court that time to get a hand on it. This Mustang club doesn't want the season to end.
Hunt putting the ball in play to Kelly. 47 seconds. To Hunt inside, intended for Nelson, and tipped out of bounds by Adrian Scheibel. 42 seconds. Coach Donato looking on from the Houlton bench. And underneath, Nagel puts it up.
Ellis had real good position that time. Nagel was determined to go to the hoop. Picked up the player control foul.
That's
We'll
only
see
2
on the
fouls on
replay.
Nagel. So
She backs right into her.
Nagel's only committed 2 fouls in the ball game, playing a tough game inside and only committing 2 fouls. Shot is up and off that time by Knowles. And now it's taken by Kelly, and she's tied up.
Jump ball, alternating possession, gives it to the Mustangs.
So Knowles will put it in play underneath the Mustang basket. Coming out to Ellis, jump shot. Misses the mark, and taken down by Kelly and Gosnell. And let's see, there's going to be a foul on Gosnell. The final minute of this game is taking a while to play. We're going from one end of the court to the other as the whistle keeps blowing, as Mount View keeps hanging on here and trying not to let this one finish. Kathy Quinlan checking in for Mount View, the tallest girl on the Mount View team. And Adrian Scheibel's going out. Kathy Quinlan will come in. She's a senior to play probably her final game for Mount View High School, 5'11" senior.
.23 seconds left on the clock.
The Houlton fans across the way chanting, "We're number one." Rebound coming down. Kelly knocks it away. Mount View will put the ball in play with 21 seconds. And now another timeout. And maybe a chance to let some reserves get a little tournament experience, or to say they played on the auditorium floor.
That's right. 21 seconds left. We're Houlton up by 10. Obviously, they might want to try to put some subs in, give them a little bit of playing time.
If nothing else, to say they played in a tournament.
That's right.
Because you can't get much experience in 21 seconds, especially when you're no longer in a pressure situation. But I suppose it's always good to be in a big game with a huge crowd on hand.
See what it's like to be out there on the big court. Mount View coming in with a real strong showing. You get 2 teams coming in undefeated. Somebody's got to go home, and the other person's going to go on to the final. Mount View will be back, though. They have a strong, as I said earlier, they got a strong nucleus coming back. I'm expecting to see them here again next year, probably.
These teams could very well meet in the Eastern Maine tourney again, if not in the final, maybe sooner.
See a little bit of celebrating now over on the Houlton bench.
Knowles, 15 seconds. Houlton getting ready to, the fans getting ready to erupt here and celebrate another Eastern Maine championship. And now the whistle stops the action with 11 seconds on the clock. And Knowles will go on the line.
Foul on Nelson that time. That's her 3rd foul. Another substitution coming in. Fawn Dumpty.
Teresa Haggerty getting a big round of applause as she goes out, played an outstanding ball game, and Fawn Dumpty, another ball player of the future for Houlton, checks in, 5'3" junior. Dumpty played a key role in the team that won the state championship. She played a role as an underclass player, and the team that went on to win the state championship last year and had an older sister who was an outstanding ball player, Amanda Dumpty. Fawn Dumpty has the ball, quickly on the dribble, coming down and running into Knowles. A foul being called on Knowles for trying to steal the ball back.
Knowles showing that hustle that they've been putting on all game, that pressure. That's her 5th foul. Goes out, she gets a nice round of applause from fans in here doing a super job tonight on both sides. Really giving the players the respect that they deserve. Both clubs coming in undefeated.
Will be the 6th year in a row, 5th year in a row. The Shires have won the Eastern Maine Championship. 82, 83, 84, 85, now 86. 6 seconds. Mount View with the ball. 4. The fans counted down. And the gun goes off with Houlton winning the Eastern Maine Championship with a score of 46-38 over Mount View.
You see the Houlton team celebrating. Mount View looking on.
Well, we expected a good game this evening, and that's just the way it turned out. Although it was delayed, the start was delayed by about an hour and 15 minutes because of a leaking roof here at the Bangor Auditorium. That was taken care of, and we got the ball game underway and in. The second one will have a late finish, however. We hope you'll stay tuned for that as you look at the celebrating across the way. And soon the presentations will be going on. We'll be going down on the floor in a few moments to talk with the winning coach.
Looks like a good mutual respect between the two teams as we see them meeting at half court. Houlton now going to take down the nets. See Diane Nagel on that end.
Nagel considered one of the top college prospects in Eastern Maine this year, as we mentioned, the 6'2" senior. Will be no doubt moving on to play college ball. Taking the net down for the 5th time.
Teresa Haggerty on the other end. There it is. What they've worked for this year. Everybody seems to like to take that net down. As we mentioned earlier, there is a little bit different format for the awards. Team members will be called up individually by, it looks to be Bernie Parody down there going to be making the presentations. Coaches, however, will not be making their speeches this time. And by the way,
especially this
time's
evening
going
with the time.
tonight. That's right.
This time we'd like to make the team and individual awards.
Looking
So
down
let's
to
go
floor.
down to the floor now.
Bernie Parody down there.
First of all, on behalf of the MSSPA, we'd like to thank Woody Bailey and his staff for a well-organized tournament week. And I think it would be appropriate to add that the water crew to that cast. We'd like to commend fans and all participants for outstanding support and play in providing a great and exciting week of basketball. First of all, for the runner-up Mount View team, who had an outstanding season and a great tournament. We'd like to call on their head coach, Alan Downer, and his assistant coach, Jerry Dunbar. This time we'll make the individual awards. First of all, the managers, Kathy Condon, Coco Sakamoto, Missy Packard. Jennifer Stewart. And now for the team. Junior Tammy Knowles. Junior Deidre Ellis. Junior Adrian Shivels. Senior Linda Pedersen. Senior Jessica Gosnell. Sophomore Amy Spalding. Junior Tracy Sanders. Freshman Jenny Hagopian. Junior Tracy Knowles. Sophomore Lynn Morrison. Junior Leslie Knowlton. Senior Kathy Quinlan. Annette Reynolds. And Kathy Fernal. We'd like to ask that the co-captains come forth to receive their plaque. Plaque reads for the Eastern Regional runner-up, Class B 1986 girls basketball to Mount View High School. And once again to our Eastern Maine champion, Houlton High School. Congratulations, girls, and we'd like to ask your head coach, John Donato, come forward with his assistant, Jerry Tweedy. Managers, Lisa Fredericks. Stephanie Sargent. Becky Blake.
Thank you, Becky.
For the team members, freshman Karen Sterling. Freshman Valerie Coulon. Sophomore Jennifer Kelly. Junior Fawn Dunphy. Sophomore Bethany Hunt. Senior Captain Teresa Haggerty. Junior Amy Wild. Sophomore Barbara Nagel. Senior, another co-captain, Kim O'Donnell. Senior, third co-captain, Diane Nagel. Freshman Nancy Haggerty. Junior Pamela Nelson. Junior Heidi Britton. And Junior Lisa Assel. This time we'd ask the co-captains to come forward to receive the Eastern Maine Championship plaque, which reads Eastern Regional Championship, Class B 1986 Girls Basketball, Houlton High School, and we wish you the very best in Eastern Maine in your championship game next week.
Okay, the Houlton Shiretowners will be shooting for the 5th state championship. Shooting for a state championship for the 5th time. They won it for the first time last year. They have won 5 Eastern Maine championships in a row. In 1982, it was Houlton over MDI, in 83 over Fort Fairfield, 84 over MDI again, and 85 over Herman. And they won the state last year over Cape Elizabeth, 53-44. They'll move on to the state again, and we'll be back in a moment.
Broadcast of the Eastern Maine semifinals and finals on MPBN is made possible by grants from your friends at Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Bangor, Machias Savings Bank, the total service bank of Sunrise County, Ken and Bev Tate's Strawberry Farm in East Corinth, R.H. Foster Incorporated with locations in Lisbon, Machias, and Hamden, and Casco Northern Bank, always thinking of ways to help you.
Okay, back in the Bangor Auditorium, where shortly you will see another Eastern Maine final between Dexter and Rockland. And right now, Lisa is going to, as we look at the Houlton Shiretowners, have their pictures taken and by a number of photographers out there. There you see them with the flag. We'll take a look at the scoring now, Lisa.
Okay, for Mount View, who came into the game ranked number 2, they were led by Tammy Knowles, who we expect to see quite a future from at Mount View. She had 10 points, followed by Jessica Gosnell, graduating senior from Mount View. Jessica had 9 points, followed by Deirdre Ellis, Adrian Scheibels. Both Deirdre and Adrian had 7 points. Tracy Knowles with 3, Linda Peterson with 2, for a total of 38 points. Right now we'd like to go down to Bill McManus with winning coach John Donato.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's going to be kind of tough down here to listen to, Lisa. I'm going to haul it. First of all, John, congratulations on a nice ball game.
Thank you very much. Kind of late at night to be playing basketball when we're supposed to be playing at 7, but it was a good ball game. We finally got going near the end.
Both teams seemed a little cold at the beginning, John. I don't think it was a delay, but I just think there was a lot of pressure on both teams because it was supposed to be a really highly played game between them.
Yeah, our outside shooting was very poor in the beginning. That's why we tried to get the ball underneath. Both teams were tight. I think we're feeling each other out there, and you know, it's one of those things. You know, we know what we each other do. We just did it better than they did.
Your seniors played well for you. Your 3 co-captains, Nagel especially well. Late in the ball game, your team exhibited a lot of patience in trying to get the ball into a certain area.
Yeah, my 3 seniors have played well all year. Diane Nagel has not played well for us until tournament time. She's been hobbling with a bad knee, and she's trying to brace up pretty much, but playing in front of a big crowd, she got to psyched up and played above her ability.
Well, John, we want to wish you the best of luck coming up in the state championship game next Friday. And on behalf of MPBN, we'd like to present you with this tape, which is that you can take back to the school and show the students on behalf of MPBN. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Lisa?
Thank you, Bill. Coming back now with the scoring for Houlton. Houlton was led, as we mentioned, by Diane Nagel, the 6'2" senior on the inside. She had 17 points tonight, followed by Teresa Haggerty with 11 points. Jennifer Kelly chipped in 10 points, and Kim O'Donnell and Bethany Hunt both chipped in 2. Also rounding out that scoring, we had Pam Nelson, who contributed 4 points, for the total 46 points. as we saw, the key in that game was going to their strength, which was Diane Nagel inside. They also controlled the tempo going down into the last few minutes of the game. They tried to slow it down, causing Mount View to commit the fouls.
And as Donato said, Coach Donato said that Diane Nagel has not played up to her potential this year because of a bad knee. You can see that her leg was all braced up, and she picked a good time to play up to her potential. Well, another Eastern Maine final, another Eastern Maine championship for the Shiretowners, and we'll be back with Class B boys action in just a few minutes. The final here, 46-38.